Hello everybody, today we will be talking about the Leos Cup, which is going to come out at the end of the month. You will find out everything that you need to know in terms of decks, in terms of parents, in terms of team compositions, uniques, talking about the best Umas and also the best skills that you can bring for your aces. If you found this video to be helpful, consider subscribing. It will help with the channel's growth, and this video took me a long time to make, so it will be much appreciated. Let's talk about the map quickly. It is going to be on Haitian, turf, 2,200 meters, medium distance, clockwise or right-handed, firm condition, summer runner, and sunny days. As for the map itself, we have two uphill sections, one starting at 310 meters and the other starting at 2,007 meters. Keep in mind that there is no downhill sections in this map, which is going to be very important later on. And going into more detail, the late race is going to start very close to the final corner, and it's going to initially start at the third corner. So that means that skills like angling, scheming, and let's pump some iron will activate slightly earlier than most acceleration skills like red shift and shooting for victory. And that is what you really need to know for this map. It's not really that complicated. Let's go over the recommended stats. As you can see, you want to have 1200 speed, 900 stamina, and preferably 2 gold recovery skills. You do not need 2, but I would recommend it too in case if you are paired in a very bad lobby where it has a lot of nice natures and wearing minor top guns, or just as a safety net in case the first one does not proc. You would also need to have about 700 power, 300-ish guts, and 400 wit, though frontrunners would need more wit than that. And while the stats might sound illogical, as you can see, this is my first Champions Meeting Ogre cap, and she practically landed on all of them, though yes, Guts is much more than that, and I better off would have gotten more value if I just gone with, but you get the point. These stats are possible, and probably easier to get these stats since we have a lot more options, including free-to-play options. Now that we talked about the track and also about the recommended stats, here are your main options for the cards that you should pick for CM4. Keep in mind that these are not ordered, outside of Kirasan Black and Super Creek, since those two are the best 2 cards for CM4. Of course, Kirasan Black is the best card, so we will use that in every deck. Then we got Beak-Up Pegasus is a really strong card too. The Silence Suzuka, this one is only for frontrunners, but if you are going to main frontrunners, which are very strong due to summon Maruzensky, this card is going to be very good. Then we have the new SSR Sweep Tosho card. This card is mostly for the spenders and whales. If you are free to play, you probably will not use this unless you have really good deck for Kirasan and also Super Creek at high limit breaks. Then this card is very strong. It has the highest amount of friendship bonus, and friendship bonus is multiplicative, so it will boost the overall stats that you get by a lot. Then we got the SSR Narta Brian card, which has been recently been out. This card is very strong and everybody has access to it, because it can give you right-handed, medium corners, and medium straightaways, which is of course really good hints, and overall this card is a very good card if you do not have your SR gacha cards at max limit breaks. And then we got the free-to-play SSR Special Week card. This card is also a decent card, though it mostly shines for pace chasers. Then we got the SR Speed cards. And starting off, we have the Sweep Tosho card. This card is extremely good, though if you are planning on using the SSR variant, you are unable to use the base version, which is going to be the SR version. Then we got King Halo, and this card is going to be very, very good because it could give you corner recovery at hint level 4, which makes it about 35% cheaper, which is of course really helpful because you are going to be using the Super Creek card in almost every single character. So that means that Swinging Maestro itself will be very expensive, but you can make corner recovery much cheaper, which makes Swinging Maestro cheaper. And another thing to keep in mind is that she could give you firmer conditions, which is very good for frontrunners since they rely on groundwork to be extremely powerful. Then we got Shinku Windy, which is a very good card in general, has a stat stick. Then we got the two situational cards, which is going to be Ishine Flash and Narta Tayashin. Those two depends if you are using a late soldier or an encloser, as I believe the Narta Brian card in general is better than Max Limit Break, Narta Tayashin, and Ishine Flash. Then we got the stamina cards, and the first one is going to be Super Creek. Super Creek is extremely strong since she could give you Swinging Maestro, which is of course a universal good gold recovery skill. She could also give you firmer conditions and ramp up being a good skill for the mid game. Then we got Saiyan Sky. Saiyan Sky is going to give you very good value for your front runners, since she could give you Escape Artist, a very good skill for the mid game. She also could give you Tail Held High, Fast Paced, or potentially even Long Shot for front runners, which is going to be very, very good. Then we got Sancho Diamond, and this card gives you a lot of stamina through her events. And she could give you firm conditions or medium corners through her hands, which is of course really awesome. And lastly, we have Tamino Cross. This card is more so for late soldiers, since she could give you a couple of good skills for late soldiers. As for the SR cards, we have Methahan Cafe, and this card is very good because it has a high specialty priority. It lets you be able to get good amounts of stamina alongside a card like Super Creek, and of course she is going to be your primary source of non-standard distance through one of her events. Then we have the Mayano Toboggan for a similar reason actually, though keep in mind that she is a lot more harder to use compared to Methan Cafe. She could give you non-standard distance through one of her events. And then we got Xeno Robroy. Xeno Robroy is going to be very good because she also could give you medium straightaways through one of her random events, and also can give you good amounts of stamina. Then we got the power cards. I wouldn't really recommend anybody to use a power card for this champions meeting. Though all of them could give you good skills for this champions meeting, you could use these as parent cards. Though you could make the argument to use the Daiwa Scarlet card for Pace Chaser's Ace decks, because she could give you Race Planner, which is a very good gold recovery skill for Pace Chasers. I will be skipping through Guts, because Guts is not really an important stat for this CM, because the hidden stat threshold for CM4 is going to be speed, and you already have capped your speed, so it wouldn't really matter. Then we got the wets. We got Fine Motion, which is of course the best wet card in general in terms of stat stack, because it is just way built different. It could give you a lot of wet. As for the SR cards, it just depends on what you want. For example, Agia Stekion could give you medium corners and medium straightaways, and Fukitaru could give you right-handed, Fuji Kiseki could give you Summer Runner, and Marvelous Sunday could give you Ramp Up, Tell Held High, and also Haishian Race Course. Now that I'm done talking about the cards, let's quickly go over the decks. For front runners, we have the option of going either 3 speed, 1 wet, 2 stamina, or 4 speed, 2 stamina, because these are probably going to be the best way for you to get the ideal stats that you need for Champions Meeting 4, especially the one that includes the wet. though it could be RNG. And on the right side is an example deck of what you could use for your aces. If you do not have these cards, do not worry, you could just substitute it with a different card. Then we got the front parent. I tried my best to come with parent decks that will help you win the career, while also giving you the amount of stats that you will need in order to win the career. As you can see, every single deck is going to feature at least one stamina card. The reason is that you would need about 600 stamina, and considering that I will go on this more in detail, you want to have stamina for your sparks as a parent, then you would probably borrow parents that have stamina in them. So a combination of stamina sparks and also a card, it will give you enough to beat the career and also try to fetch multiple good skills for potential sparks. Though, if you do not have the SSR Silence Suzuka card, then you could ideally just pick the one that is going to be on the left if you have Kirasan Black, and use the R version of Silence Suzuka. Then we got the pace decks. It is going to be 4 speed, 2 stamina, or 3 speed, 3 stamina. It depends on how much growth rates and speed and Uma that you are training is going to have. For example, Ogre Cap has 20% speed, so you want to favor the one that includes 3 speed, 3 stamina cards. Though, you could potentially swap one of the stamina cards for the Power Diva Scarlet card if you are desperate for a second gold recovery skill, and Race Planner is a good gold recovery skill. Then we got the Pace Parents, and this is going to be your deck. Though, if you do not have the El Condor Pasa card, you could swap her for the SSR Diva Scarlet card and just still beat the career very easily. Though keep in mind that preferred position is the common version of Race Planner. So if you end up getting it as a spark, it could help your pace chasers that have Race Planner and their potential levels to make overall Race Planner cheaper, which could help you get more skills in general. As for the late Soldier Ace, it is going to be the exact same build as Pace Chaser. If your Uma has 20% speed, then you could use the 3 speed, 3 stamina. If not, the 4 stamina, 2 wit is probably more than ideal. Then we got late Soldier Parents, and as you can see, we have 2 different SSR cards. Well, which one is going to be the one that we end up using? I would most likely going to recommend the SSR Guts winning ticket over Tamino Cross, because you already have Method Man Cafe on your deck already. You could substitute the SSR card of Tamino Cross for the R version instead. Though, keep in mind that you will not get position plifter through the R version of the card. Then, we have Enclosers, and they follow the same principle as Pace Chasers and Late Surgers. If your Uma has 20% speed and growth rate, then go 3 speed, 3 stamina. And if not, you should go for 4 speed and 2 stamina. I will talk about Gold Ship since she has 20% stamina. I would recommend going for the 4 speed and 2 stamina instead for Gold Ship. Then we got the Encloser Parents, and unfortunately, you don't really have that much options, so this is going to be your deck. While yes, you could be asking yourself, where is Straightaway Sport? You do not want to buy Straightaway Sport at all in this Champions meeting, because if we take a look at the map, the final straight happens way too deep inside of the late race where you already hit your top speed. So Straightaway Spurt is not going to give you any value. Now that we are done talking about the decks, let's go over the legacy and the parents. As for the parents, you want to prioritize stamina over power over speed, in that order. And for the pink spark, you want to prioritize medium, then turf, then the strategy. As for the main parts itself, this list of characters, which is going to be Sky, Maruzensky, Tiki Shuttle, Major Orion, and a couple new faces, such as the Fantasy El Condor Pasa and also Wedding Mayan Tobagan. Though, keep in mind that Fantasy El Condor Pasa and also Wedding Mayan Tobagan are not 100% consistent. So, ideally, you want to use these two characters as your grandparents over as an actual parent. As for Condor Pasa, you need to overtake somebody while being in the 4th to 7th place position in the final corner. So, it's only going to be useful for late surgers and enclosers. And for Wedding Minor Tobagan, you have to be between 5th to 7th place and overtake somebody in the final corner. Now that you know about the situational acceleration uniques, let's quickly go over the mainstream ones. First one is going to be angling scheming from Sky. This one is very simple. You only need to be in the late race and be first. So, as long as you are first place, you will trigger this unique, and this unique is a must-have for front runners. Then we got Redshift. Redshift is going to be extremely powerful for CM4 because it will trigger in the final corner. And the final corner is still very early in the late race, so everybody will need this skill in order to get extra free acceleration. Then we got Shooting for Victory, which is basically the exact same thing as Maruzensky, but you have to be between 3rd to 5th place. So that means is that only front runners are not going to benefit from this. So pace chasers, late surgers, and enclosers will benefit from this unique, but not front runners, because of course you have to be between 3rd to 5th place to trigger this unique. Then we got Let's Pump Some Iron. This will only trigger for the 6th place position, but still a very powerful unique since it will trigger immediately at the start of the late race. As you can see, there is a green and a blue circle between each character. And if we take a look over at the course itself, the green circle or the green arrow represents angling, scheming, and Less Pumps on Iron, since they trigger immediately at the start of the late race. And then we got Redshift, Let's Shoot for Victory, and also the Condor Pasa and Wedding Minotop's unique. Those will trigger where the blue circle is at or the blue arrow. This means that they will trigger slightly after angling, scheming, and Let's Pump for Some Iron. Finally, we have the ace skills. Firstly is going to be front runners. We want 3 green skills in order to proc groundwork very consistently. And the easiest ones are going to be right-handed, firm conditions, and Haitian racecourse. Why exactly? Because Makiani Fukutaru has an event that if you pick the bottom option in the second chain event, will give you right-handed. And firm conditions, you can get it off of King Halo and Super Creek. And also Sancho Diamond if you are using her alongside Super Creek. And Haitian Racecourse, you can get this from a parent very easily, and a lot of cards give Haitian Racecourse. And of course, we have groundwork. Essential skill for front runners. Please, please, please ensure that your parents have groundwork so that you could have an actual strong ace, since the difference of no groundwork frontrunner and a groundwork frontrunner is very big. Then we got fast paced or escape artist. It is a very good mid-game skill that will help you maintain the lead. You could get the gold version via the usage of the Sky stamina card. And of course we have the corner mediums and corner frontrunners, straightaway frontrunner and straightaway medium. However, double circle frontrunner corners or medium is probably going to be better than front runner straightaways, and medium straightaways double circle. Then we have Del held high and playtime is over. These two go hand in hand and they are very good together. And lastly is going to be leader's pride. It is a very good skill because it will help you stay first in the early game and it will help you be first, which means that it will help trigger playtime is over in the mid race, which in turn will help you proc Del held high. So it's basically a combo synergy. If you have extra support points, you could go for something like the final push, which is an acceleration skill. However, it's not 100% consistent. You could go for Professor or Curvature if it is very cheap. So, like level 5 Corner Adept and also level 3 Hint Professor or Curvature, then this is going to be very good. And of course, Focus if you like the greens. Slipstream is not really that great, but if you have no other option, then you get it. And Ramp Up is somewhat decent too. For Frontrunner Savvies and Sunny Days, it follows the same principle of Focus, where you don't really have any other option, so you just buy these instead. Then we have Pace Chasers. As for the green skills, it is mostly universal, so I wouldn't really talk about green skills after this point. Though, as you can see, Pace Chasers have 3 consistent ways of getting 3 different gold recovery skills, that being Gourmand, Swinging Maestro, and Racing Planner. So, how do you get Gourmand? Gourmand you can get from the Special Week free-to-play card, and if you do not have the free-to-play Special Week card, you can use the Race Planner from the SSR Power Diva Scarlet card, and you will have 2. And Swinging Maestro is of course from Super Creek. So, Pace Chasers have the most amount of gold recovery skills between any other class. So, it is going to be very easy to build a very good Pace Chaser that doesn't die very frequently. They, of course, also need Pace Chaser straightaways and Pace Chaser corners, and also medium corners and medium straightaways. The same combination of Playtime is Over and Tell held high applies to Pace Chasers. However, for the extra SP category, Slipstream is added into the mix, which triggers if you are behind an Uma. And considering that you are not a front runner, this will trigger. And of course, Ramp Up is somewhat decent if you have the extra points. And if you do not have any other option, Groundwork could slightly help you. As for late surgers, Slick Surge is going to be somewhat of an interesting skill, because if it procs very early, it will help you win against the front runner, which is going to be someone Maruzensky, with multiple different uniques on your side, because you will have potentially Let's Pump Some Iron, going to have Redshift, Shooting for Victory, so that is going to boost your acceleration by a really long margin. And of course, the strategy based is straightaways and corners, per usual, and you want to have medium corners and straightaways, though keep in mind that you want medium corners and late soldier corners are double circle sometimes. Playtime's Over is decent, and you want to go with Highlander and also Tell held high. Those are good for late soldiers and enclosers, especially for the context of Highlander and the late soldier exclusive 1,500,000 CC. Those two are going to help your late soldiers get out of the uphill sections of the race very early compared to other late soldiers, and it will help them be set well for you to trigger multiple different unique inherited acceleration skills. As for the extra SP, you have position filter, I don't know how you spell that, I'm sorry, and then you also have outer swells. For end closers, you of course have the strategy based skills like the end closer straightaways and end closer corners, and of course medium straightaways and medium corners. Tell held high, Playtime is Over, Ramp Up, Highlander, and Professor of Curvature are good skills has extra, but you don't need all of them. And of course, swinging maestro is very good for everyone. So, for the best Umas, of course, the first one that will come in mind is going to be Summer Maruzensky, because she is very strong in general, because she has very good growth rates. She has a gold recovery skill being restless, and she also has a very strong unique that triggers in the second half of the race. However, keep in mind that she is going to be defeatable. However, since she has two gold recovery skills, that being restless and also swinging maestro, you can't really stamina check Summer Maruzensky. So the more ideal tip is going to be debuffing the hell out of her speed and potentially using a pace chaser or a late surger, and hopefully that the late surger or a pace chaser is strong enough for you to beat that Summer Maruzensky. As for the rest of the Umas in the best Uma section, all of them are going to be very good. Most notably is going to be Ogre Cap. Ogre Cap is probably going to be the best counter that you have as a pace chaser against Summer Maruzensky because of her unique. And lastly, for the team compositions. The first one is going to be two front runners and a debuffer. This is going to be probably the meta of this CM, and the other alternative is going to be two ace plus a debuffer. So let's say like Summer Maruzensky, Ogre Cap, and like a debuffer Nice Nature. And lastly, I'm going to recommend this for those who are very against Summer Maruzensky, is going to be double debuffer plus ace, which is most likely going to be Ogre Cap, but you run a lot, and I mean a lot, of speed debuffs just to nerf the hell out of Summer Maruzensky's speed. Keep in mind that late surgers and enclosers could have some trouble, because this is a medium CM and you will probably see a lot of people just pick up the CM1 team that they made. So there is going to be some nice natures which are going to be late surgers. So it could cause some issues with you heading the 6th place position and activating Let's Pump Some Iron. So keep that in mind. And I believe that is going to be it. If you got any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section, and please consider subscribing. This video has taken me a long while, and I hope to see you in the next one.